I think what you've done, especially with awareness raising and what you've done with fundraising for Wiltshire Ambulance, is amazing as well. I mean, we touched on it at the start, but you've raised £14,000 for Wiltshire Ambulance. I want to talk in a second about how you did that, because that's crazy in itself. But that £14,000, which sounds like so much money, that's actually only enough to fund that service for one day, isn't it?
I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. So and that's increasing all the time because of ludicrous fuel costs and things like that. But I would have been ignorant to this until I needed them.
Mm.
But people say to me all the time, and the NHS only funds the staff, all the equipment and the helicopter and the vehicles has to be paid for by fundraising. Just pays nothing, of course. It's not linked to the NHS in any way. So it's a Oh, what a frightening amount of money. So even though the paramedics and the pilots and the doctors are amazing, everyone involved in the air ambulance are unbelievable. Whether it's the people who are involved in fundraising, and there's so many different routes. There's individuals like me doing bits and pieces, or there's groups, or there's corporate fundraising where these schemes where you just get everyone to donate 1% of their pay each month or what
Yeah.
have you. Or not even that much. It's a negligible amount and you don't even notice it happening. But that all adds up as well. And
Yeah.
the number of people that leave huge amounts in their wills because they've either used the service themselves or a family friend member or friend has. I mean, it's just astronomical to think about how much they need and how they manage to achieve it. So, yeah, I mean, one day, I mean, they saved my life. The least you can do is pay for one day as a thank you. I'm not stopping there. You do have to kind of think of crazier ways to do it though,
Well, look,
because
let's talk about the crazy way you did it. So, because when we saw you, you were like, when I last saw you in Bath, you were in the middle of preparing for this. Tell us all about this crazy fundraising challenge that you did.
right, so I've always loved running. I really, really got into it more once my kids were born, which surprised everyone. But it genuinely was the only way I could get any time off.
Exactly. Do you know what? Anyone who's been a parent, I think most people, like, I did my marathons after being a dad, like,
Yeah,
because
same actually.
it's then an
Yeah.
excuse to leave the house on your own. And you just
Honestly.
go out for a run. And I'd say to my wife, like, oh, I've just did another half marathon now. And she's like, oh, so you could do another 3 hour run as well. I was like, no, I'm doing it to look after myself. Bye.
And I don't know if you felt this, I'd occasionally get the sort of Forrest Gump feeling, where I just think, no, I don't think I'll turn back.
Just keep
Keep
on
going
running.
for a bit. But actually, like I said, I've always done running. I was pretty good. I got into ultra marathons and even won one before my
What is an
accident.
ultra marathon? Is that a double?
I thought it was a double. It's just any distance further than a marathon. But the one I won was 50 miles, and really, really hilly as well. But I just I am not the best runner in the world by any means, but I've got the mentality for it that I'm just good at almost an out of body experience and just chapping on. So I really, really missed that. I was able to run after my accident once. I was quite a bit better. But then I kept doing stupid things and re-breaking my right arm that just is not very strong anymore. So that took me a while to learn. So the running was very stop start. So I thought, right, I need to. You'll understand this if you've done marathons and
Yeah.
things. It's all a bit lost and pointless if you don't have a target, isn't
Mhm.
it?
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I'll set myself a stupid target because there's only so many times you can ask the same family, friends, communities, businesses to sponsor you. So I
Yeah.
couldn't do a 10K or a, you know, sponsored spell. So I thought, I know, I'll do a triple marathon. So I've never done that much before. But then to make it even more interesting, so the brewing industry that I've completely fallen in love with because it's so welcoming, uses all my engineering skills, and I get to make great beer, and I don't have to drive anywhere, so it's a win-win. So I thought, right, I'll create a big loop that stops off in 12 breweries and tap rooms and does a little comedy set while I'm there and finish off at the air ambulance headquarters. And it just felt like a really good idea. And then the more I talked to people about it and they said, you're crazy, I thought, yeah, it is starting to seem a bit more crazy now. And then when it got so funny and I was on Points West, in some quite frankly disgusting Barbie pink leggings, which my children were mortified about. And then an ITV crew came to the start of the race with me and things. I started to think, this really is ridiculous. But yeah, absolutely. Because it was so ridiculous and got a bit of interest, it sort of just helps to raise awareness. And on the way back from the Points West, because my name's spelt with a K, I'm like the Madonna of just giving. As long as they put my name in spelt with a K, you could find me. And so I just mentioned it on Points West on the way back in the car and getting all these alerts that people have sponsored me. And it just had me in floods of tears. One of them said the name was Granny, and it said, Claire, I've just seen you on Points West. What you're doing is brilliant. God will be with you on the day. I'm sending all my love. 30 quid. Who does that?
Amazing.
For someone they've just seen on Points West?
That's incredible.
Honestly, stuff like that was blowing my mind.
But
So,
is the sponsorship page still open, Claire? Can people watching this now still donate?
yeah, they totally can. So I got obsessed with getting to a certain point, and I wanted to get to 5,000, including gift aid. And we were still a fair distance from it. So we did a bit of rounding up as a family, but who cares? They deserve it. But yeah, it absolutely is still open. And yeah, it's just isn't it always the way as well that the kindness or the most kindness comes from the people that can least afford to do it.
Yep.
So there's a wonderful friend of mine who lives locally. She's a brilliant sort of TA helper at the school, about my mum's age. And after my accident, she came round one day when I was back home. She came round one day with a leg of lamb all wrapped in tinfoil, tray of roasties, loads of veg, homemade gravy, blah, blah, blah. And just dropped it in case it would help me because I wasn't able to cook. And then when I said, Anne, you must stay. No, I'll be in the way. You enjoy that as a family. And then whenever I do a sponsored event, she just sponsors me too much. So she sponsored me £50 for this event. And then when I completed it and just made a little post to say, thank you, everyone, I managed to do it, she sponsored me another £100. And this is a woman in her 70s who... I just don't get it. I just don't understand where all the kindness comes from.
You can't take it with you.
I don't know who's chopping onions today. I can't cope.
Sarah's done.